In a world where nations constantly shift, alliances form and crumble, and powers rise and fall, one country stands as one of the most mysterious, isolated, and unpredictable forces on the global stage. That country is North Korea. Its rigid control, secrecy, and complex political tensions keep it in the headlines. But what if I told you that ancient writings, dating back thousands of years, might have foreshadowed North Korea's rise and mysterious role on the world stage? Welcome to Bible Secret Stories, where today we'll explore one of the most intriguing ideas in biblical prophecy. Could North Korea be hinted at in the Bible? Are there messages hidden within its pages that speak to our world today and even reveal glimpses into the future? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear may change the way you look at this enigmatic nation forever. The Bible isn't just a book of spiritual guidance. It's a record of history, poetry, wisdom, and for some, prophecy. Across thousands of years, millions have looked to the Bible not only for guidance on how to live, but also for clues about the past, present, and future. Passages in the Old and New Testaments are filled with cryptic visions, strange symbols, and warnings about kingdoms, wars, and alliances. One of the things that makes biblical prophecy so captivating is its mysterious language. Unlike a typical prediction, biblical prophecy speaks in symbols and metaphors, describing nations as animals, seas, and beasts. These prophecies were written in such a way that they are open to interpretation, which has fascinated scholars, believers, and historians for centuries. Among these prophecies, certain passages seem to point to great powers in the East, kingdoms of secrecy and violence, and even figures known as kings of the North and kings from the East. While traditionally these were seen as symbols of historical empires, some modern interpreters see them as possible references to nations like North Korea. But how exactly does this connection come about? Before we dive into the prophecies, let's take a moment to consider North Korea's place in the world today. It's not just another country, it's one of the most isolated, tightly controlled, and politically complex nations in history. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, has been under the rule of the Kim dynasty since its founding in 1948. The Kim family's influence, secrecy, and strict control over its citizens have created a society that's both isolated and intensely loyal to its leaders. Foreign media is banned, information is controlled, and any form of dissent is met with severe punishment. This is a nation that remains largely hidden from the outside world. But it's not just its isolation that's intriguing. North Korea's military power, particularly its nuclear capabilities, has made it a critical player in international politics. Its weapons tests, missile launches, and tense relations with South Korea, Japan, and the United States keep the world on edge. So how does a nation like this fit into biblical prophecy? Let's go back in time to some of the Bible's oldest books and explore whether there might be something more beneath the surface. The Book of Daniel, written over 2,500 years ago, is one of the Bible's most prophetic books. It's filled with visions of strange beasts, powerful kingdoms, and battles between kings. In chapter 11 of Daniel, we find descriptions of kings of the north, who will rise and act with power, secrecy, and violence. Now, historically, these kings have been associated with empires like Babylon and Persia, as well as later rulers in the Middle East. But over time, interpretations have evolved, and some believe these kings of the north could also represent modern-day leaders in Asia. Why North Korea? First, let's look at the country's positioning. Though traditionally we think of north as a directional term, some interpreters believe it can also signify a place of opposition or hostility. In biblical times, the north represented lands beyond Israel's borders, often hostile, powerful, and mysterious. With its strict secrecy, control, and powerful leadership, North Korea embodies many of the characteristics associated with Daniel's Kings of the North. Its leadership is in many ways shrouded in mystery. The country's aggressive military actions, combined with a seemingly impenetrable system of control, present a modern-day picture of these ancient kings. The Book of Revelation, known for its vivid imagery and cryptic language, has often been viewed as a glimpse into future events. In Revelation, there is a powerful reference to the Battle of Armageddon, where it is said that kings from the East will play a role. What are these kings from the East? Some theologians argue that it could simply mean rulers from any Eastern kingdom, but others see this as an indication of specific nations in Asia that might hold power or influence at the time of a significant global conflict. The passage speaks of the Euphrates River drying up to make way for these kings. This image of armies gathering could be symbolic, representing not just physical armies, but the gathering of powers or alliances. Could this be a reference to North Korea and other Eastern nations joining forces or acting independently in ways that impact the world? There is, of course, a lot of debate among theologians about these interpretations. Some believe these prophecies are purely symbolic and refer to the spiritual battles within the human heart. Others interpret them as direct predictions of real-world events. Some theologians argue that reading North Korea into the Bible is a stretch, a modern reinterpretation that takes ancient passages out of context. They caution against using prophecy as a way to predict specific modern events. But others find these connections fascinating. They see North Korea as an isolated power, possibly part of a larger plan within the intricate web of nations. To them, the Bible's prophetic messages are timeless, and the mention of kings of the north and kings from the east could very well extend into the present day. So what do we make of all this? Even if you're not convinced that these biblical prophecies point specifically to North Korea, it's hard to deny that the Bible speaks to patterns in human history. Nations rise and fall, alliances shift, and at times, history seems to echo with ancient warnings and wisdom. Perhaps North Korea serves as a reminder of the fragile balance that exists in our world. The potential for tension, conflict, and the need for peace. Whether seen through the lens of prophecy or geopolitics, it's a powerful illustration of how ancient wisdom can still resonate today. In the end, biblical prophecy is open to interpretation, and the mysteries it contains continue to inspire questions, theories, and debates. Could North Korea truly be part of an ancient prophecy, or is it simply another chapter in the ongoing story of global powers? We may never know for certain, but perhaps that's the point. The Bible invites us to question, to seek wisdom, and to remain aware of the forces at play in our world. What do you think? Are these verses about North Korea just a coincidence, or is there something deeper at play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to subscribe to Bible Secret Stories for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, stay curious and stay vigilant.